Alright, what should I LP next? Let's see. I've already done those games. And I've already done that one. I just got out of a really long LP. I don't do action games, usually. I want to LP the other games in the series first there. Let's go with this one. It'll be quick. Hello, this is H.E. Bailey, and welcome to a special preview episode of my next LP. Today, I thought I'd demonstrate my recording method with some adjustments I've made since the first tech demo I did a while ago, as well as taking a look at the job classes and story behind Let's Play Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, a strategy RPG for the Nintendo Switch. So let's see the job classes. Cavalier is a decent job class. They've got a ton of movement range in open terrain, but are pretty terrible over rough terrain. Knights have really high defense, and that's about it. Their low speed and movement range makes them inferior to other jobs. Pegasus Knights are really good, with high speed and movement range all over terrain. They've got low strength, but that's not a problem. Paladins are basically upgraded Cavaliers with slightly better stats and a little better movement over rough terrain. Wyvern Knights are upgraded Pegasus Knights with even more movement range and a ton of defense, making them ideal tanks. Mercenaries are very fast with decent movement range, but more useful over rough terrain. They also have pretty high skill for accuracy. Fighters are one of the worst job classes. Low speed, low skill, they wield axes, which are very inaccurate. Pirates are basically the same thing, except they can move over open water terrain, which isn't nearly as useful as it might sound. Thieves are a really good job class with very high speed. They can lockpick doors, open treasure chests for some great utility. Heroes are one of my favorite job classes in the game. It's an upgraded mercenary with even better movement over rough terrain and high speed. Archers are pretty terrible, even though they can attack from range. I would only use one if you're only going to upgrade them later on. Hunters are a decent job class, a little better than Archer, but with better movement range over rough terrain there. Ballisticians are really bad, with extremely low speed and movement range. I can't imagine using them for any purpose. Horsemen are basically a combination of an archer and a cavalier, which can be pretty good if you want ranged attacks in open terrain. Snipers are my preferred bowman of choice, as an upgraded archer with immensely greater speed and movement range. The Freelancer is basically a mimic. They can copy the stats of a party member and access their equipment draw. They're really good. Monarchites aren't as great as they might sound. I mean, they can transform into dragons, but they're extremely slow to do so. Mages are extremely good with their magic being able to deal fixed damage that ignores defense and have some exclusive spells. Curates are your basic healers, though I tend to use them more for utility than actual healing. Bishops are an upgraded mage or curate with very high speed to wield tomes for damage or stabs for healing. Finally, the main character of the game, Marth, the Lord of the Castle. He's pretty similar to a mercenary or hero with some exclusive equipment, but if he dies, it's game over. And generals are just really, really slow. They're basically the same thing as knights, for all I care about that. Alright, let's take a look at the story. Since this game was originally released in 1990, they didn't have the memory capacity to put in a lot of story. When I was your age, if you wanted the story of a game, you had to read the instruction manual to get it. And we liked it. I'll put a link in the video description to the digital instruction manual that we have for this game. So let's see what we've got. Evil Empire, Dollar, however you pronounce it. I think it's Dollar. And Medeus, the Shadow Dragon, is back, and it's our job to stop him. And this game has a fairly decent amount of plot in-game, though, for what was originally on the Famicom in Japan. We never got it back in the day, but now with the Nintendo Switch, we can. At least if you've already gotten it by now. Alright, let's get into the battlefield to get some colors so you guys can see the recording quality. I tried to brighten up the video a bit more than in the first tech demo, since some of you told me it's a little darker on the Nintendo Switch than the Famicom there. Now I've also gotten rid of the black bars on the top and bottom of the screen, so it fills out the video more there. And on another note, let me know what you think about how to handle the episode length for this LP. The length of the battles can range from like half an hour to well over an hour. Ideally, I'd like to keep the episodes around 20-25 minutes. I have a few ideas of how to handle that, though. At first, I could simply just use the fixed length per episode, almost regardless of how long a battle lasts. Some episodes would wrap up one battle and then simply continue on to the next, so there's not like a clean break between every battle if I did it that way. This would make it the easiest way to record 20 to 25 minute episodes every day, but the pacing of the plot can get broken up because of, you know, when I would end each chapter or battle of the game. And second, I could batch record each battle and then break up each one into somewhat even chunks, like I did with Gungnir. However, if I record with live commentary, I would not be able to know in advance where the breaks would be, so I wouldn't have an outro to every episode, only like per chapter basis, though perhaps that's not really necessary. This would have the widest variance in episode length, though, probably between 20 or maybe 35 minute episodes, depending on how long the battles go. The third way is I have a general idea of how long each battle would take without explaining everything that I'm doing. I could reasonably estimate the total length of the battles and plan my breaks in advance to record a new episode every day, like I did with Bahamut Lagoon, and each chapter would end with the end of the battle and all that. So I'd say each episode would be more like 20 to 30 minutes with this method. So it's, I think it's a reasonable balance between the first two ideas, but let me know what you think. Either way, I'll be starting the LP tomorrow. This is H.C. Bailey, signing off. Have a good day.